Well, welcome back to the second half hour of the Apologetics.com radio show, where we challenge believers to think and thinkers to believe. My name is Harry Edwards, your host for this evening, and I have a very special guest, the author of this book, Eyes to See, Recognizing God's Common Grace in an Unsettled World. Highly recommend that you get it. And like I mentioned earlier, if you message us, somehow get in touch with our organization at apologetics.com, and we'll send you a free copy. Now, supplies are limited, so you better hurry. And, well, it's been really amazing and fun talking with you, Tim, about your book. Love it. I've felt like I've grown in my abilities in apologetics already, just reading it.
Oh, thank you.
But by the way, you can read this in, I think, one weekend. So it's good. Lots of helpful stuff. I ran across a quote here. I shared it with you a while ago. It's by Hans Christian Andersen. He said, "The whole world is a series of miracles, but we're so used to them, we call them ordinary things." So remember we were talking about how God could just snap his fingers and take care of issues, but a lot of them just happen before our eyes, and we call them ordinary things. But I know there's a big discussion about what a miracle is, and do we call everything a miracle? I get the danger in that, but I'm convinced that a lot of these things are miracles. Sun rising every morning, my heart beating regularly. I'm not even aware of a lot of these things, and they just happen. So, anyways, in your book, Tim, you made a big deal about communications, and you're a communications expert. And I love how you start the chapter with, and I don't know if many of us realize, and maybe we do internally, but our words literally have the power of life and death. And how do you connect that with common grace?
Yeah, it is amazing how much the book of Proverbs talks about the power of words. The ancient writers compare negative words to the thrust of a sword. They say that a word can break a person's bone. I mean, they really give a lot of efficacy to words. And you mentioned Proverbs 18:21, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Well, today we see what Deborah Tan and Georgetown linguist calls the argument culture, that we approach each other with contempt. That's what really separates politics today from the past days, or let's say the Reagan era, is we don't just disagree with the president. There's contempt for the president by some, and the former president, conversely. So God knows that our languages, how we talk to each other, how we conceptualize each other is going to wreak havoc. I mean, how you talk about a person is how you treat that person. So what God does amazingly is he floods the world with two things. One, an idea of what virtuous communication can do and what negative communication can do. He takes both aspects. But I love that that proverb from the ancient writer, life and death is in the power of the tongue, because Harry, when you start to research some of the great religions and some great thinkers, you get that idea. And the Buddha is really interesting because it's almost like he paraphrases the book of Proverbs, and we know that he virtually had no chance of having access to the book of Proverbs. Let me read some of these to you. So Hinduism, nearly 15%, 1.1 billion of the world's population follow the teachings of Hindu scriptures. Well, listen to what one mystic says. Words can comfort or hurt. It is our pride that makes us use words that hurt. The Buddha said this: words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change the world. Muhammad said that only followers of Allah should speak righteous words. Confucius said this: without knowing the force of words, it is impossible to know more. So here is God flooding the world with virtuous communication. Hey, your words can heal just like they can hurt. So I love the idea that in a time when the Buddha is not having conversations with Muhammad, they're coming up with the same kind of idea of the virtuous power of words. And I think all of that is God's common grace.